Okay, so with stage one of our design, we need to start, or we can start, by looking at the floor plan or the overhead view of the house itself. We can see that it's a hexagon. Okay, it's a hexagon. So we know that each angle here is 120 degrees, and it states here on the plan, okay, that the length of each wall is 4 meters. Okay, don't worry too much, or don't worry at all about what's going on inside the house, and don't worry so much about this 7 meters here. Okay, so let's get started. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by drawing first this wall, and then we have to measure each angle 120 degrees and draw in each wall. Okay, and you did this right at the very beginning of the term, and for those of you who weren't present when we did this, it is a little bit of a difficult one to do, but hopefully with a bit of practice you can get it right. So let's get started. I'm going to do this wall first. Okay, so we said 4 meters, so we're going to start here on the red line, and we're going to do a line. We're going to click here. Okay, on the red line, and okay, so on the red line, and we're going to make it 4 meters, so type in 4 meters. Okay, now actually before we continue, let's say File, Save As, and you're going to go to your ICT folder, and you are going to call it your name. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to save our project, and you're going to put your name, and you are going to say Hex House Stage 1. Remember, the Stage 1 is just the house as a component, and then you're going to do the windows and the doors. Alright, so we've got one side here. We're going to use a protractor tool. We're going to go to the end of the line, draw a click, and then type 120. Okay, probably did that a bit quick, so I'm going to explain to those of you who can't remember how to do that. Draw the line, 4 meters, press enter. Okay, so protractor tool. Click on the protractor tool. You are going to click on the end. To click once, you're going to pull the line down one of the sides. Click a second time, and then you rotate it around, and you can type in 120 degrees. You press enter. Okay, and then you've got your second one. So we can now draw in the line. Draw it in 4 meters. There we go. And you just repeat this process where you're measuring the angles and you're drawing in the lines. Okay, so just a couple more. Okay, and last one. Okay, this one didn't actually need to measure, you can just draw it straight from there to there, but I've measured it already, so there we go. Okay, so now we've got our hexagon, and what we're going to do now is we're going to pull it out, because we don't really, it's not important in what's happening inside the house, so don't worry about that. What we're going to do is we are going to pull the shape up, and this time we need a different picture. And the picture that we need is the one which shows you the height of the house. Okay, so the height of the house is 2.9 meters. 0.9 meters, when I say pull it up, 2.9 meters. Okay, and there we've got the sort of shape of the house. Okay, no windows, no doors. That's exactly what we want. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do the roof. Now, it's up to you how you want to do the roof. I'm just going to do a very, very basic roof, and I'm not going to do this vent that you have here, which is basically, if I just go back, basically that section there. So we just zoom in a little bit, okay, and it's just a little bit here at the top. I'm just going to do the roof for the moment, and I'm not going to create a vent here at the top, and it's just going to be a sealed roof. Don't worry about the solar panels or anything, just the roof. Okay, you can add detail a little bit later. So the first thing I have to do is I've got to actually find the center of my roof, because I need to find where the middle is. And what I do is I draw these diagonals, okay, and that will help me to find the center. And I could delete these, but actually I might be able to raise this up. So we're going to try quickly. I don't think we can, but what we're going to do is we have to look very carefully at the height. So let's just have a quick look at the height of what we need to do. So if we go back here, you can see the height is 3.5, 2.9. So when we subtract these two, we get 60 centimeters, or 0.6 meters. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up, and we can see 0.60 meters, and there we go, and there's our roof. Okay, now you don't have to make it a component yet at this stage. We can do a little bit more detail and then add the components. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to raise this roof a little bit just to add some detail, and it's not obvious what that distance is. So let's see if we can find a picture that tells us the thickness of that particular wall. Okay, so just zoom in here. Let's have a quick look. Okay, it doesn't really say. I don't think it does. No. So it's okay if you can choose what thickness you want. Just obviously just don't make it too thick. So we're going to go in and remember to keep a record of how far you pull this out. So we're going to go pull. I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to pull it maybe. Let's have a look. .04 I think is good. So 0.04, enter, and I'm going to do the same with each one. 0.04. You go around and you do it with each surface. Okay, and you've done this before. 0.04. You can go around. Remember to use your shortcuts. I'm going to go around one more. Okay, I think this is the last one. No, two more. Okay, and last one. Alright. Okay, now obviously we've got these little gaps here on the edges. Okay, here we've got little gaps, and we've got to close these gaps off. So we just got to do that, and we just got to go around each sort of corner, each of the 6 corners, and we just have to add our lines to seal it. Okay, so there we go. Okay, we've got our roof. Alright, so if we go back to the design, now the original roof, or part of the design, it doesn't actually come out. So we don't have to extend this roof outwards. But if you feel you would like to, then you're more than welcome to pull it out. The only problem that you will have is that you needed to actually pull the roof out before putting these lines in. Okay. If I pull this roof out, you'll see that we have a slight problem, that we get something that looks like that. Okay, so it sort of comes out at an angle. Okay, and that is because of these lines that we have added. But actually it's not too bad. You just have to close it off. You just got more sort of surfaces to pull. Okay, and you may just have to close these off once you have finished, just to round it off. But you don't need to. We're not gonna extend the roof outwards. Okay, so there's no need to do this. No need to do this. Okay, so that's fine. So leave the roof just against the wall, and that. What we're going to do next on step 2 is we're going to design a window and a door and make both components, separate components. And then we can design the rest of our house by adding windows to this particular house. Okay, now when you do your window, you can either do the window that is in this design. Okay, and you can see the window looks something like that. Okay, so yes, so you can either do that or you can design your own window. Now if you do this window, it is far better if you design the window closed. It's quite challenging to do an open window. Okay, I might do that at the end of this video, but it's quite difficult to do that. So we're just going to do a plain window, and we're just going to design that quickly. Okay, so leave the house as it is for the moment. We're not going to make it a component, but what we're going to do is we're going to design one window, okay, and then this window can be copied and pasted. So let's do our window. We're going to put it here. Okay, let's say not too big, because glass is quite expensive in any design. Okay, I'm just going to move this. Okay, so let's put it there. That's fine. I'm just looking at sort of roughly the position that's in the middle. You can always make it a little bit higher, but we don't want to sort of here or here. It just doesn't look right. If you look at the original design, it is actually in the middle. So if you want to, you can find the middle and then put it and then delete the lines, but this is fine. Visually it looks in the middle. And we're going to do offset. Okay, so F for offset, and we're just going to do a frame. I'm going to go a little bit closer because I want to offset again. This time I want to do a slightly thinner one, like that. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a component. I'll check that there's nothing behind it that I have made components. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so I'm going to make this a component, edit, make component, and we're going to call this window. Maybe window 1 or window rectangle. There we go. Alright, so now we can go here, we can double click and we can edit this window. No colors, please. Colors we'll do right at the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit, not much. Okay. And then the next one I'm going to pull out as well. But this time I'm going to pull this one out a little bit further. Okay, like that, perfect. And I could pull this one out so slightly higher than this section. Okay, so that might be a possibility. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but it's up to you how you do a window. But this is my window here. Okay, and I just want to quickly see if this actually works, because I want to make sure that when I do add glass I can actually see through. Brilliant, it does work. Okay. Alright, so please remember to save your work as you're working, so Control S. Alright, now let's say for example you would like to make this window bigger. Now we haven't used this tool yet, so we're going to use it now. And it's a tool called Scale. So this time you just press S for Scale. Okay, so we're going to click S for Scale, and you can see that it gets these sort of edges here. And you've got to be careful where you click, because when you click Scale, you can see that it's quite easy to click on the wrong one. Okay, so you've got to make sure you click on the correct one. And what I'd like to do is make the window slightly bigger. Okay, so you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, but I'm making it bigger. There we go. And it's up to you how big you want to make it. But again, just look at the position. It looks like it is fine. So there we go. And then we've changed the window. Right, last one we need to do is we are going to do our door. Again, it doesn't matter where you put the door because we can always move it. We can move the door, we can put it somewhere else. Now, again, the door is a very, very basic door. It's not a complicated door. So maybe a bit of time needs to be spent so we can do the frame. And a little bit of time needs to be maybe spent on the handle, what kind of handle we put in. But remember, we're not going to do this porch yet. This is much later, and this is quite a challenging task. So let's just do the door. Now, when you do your door, okay, and you can see here, we've got to think very carefully about the height of the door. It's not easy to see, but you can't make your door in line here because you are going to have a section here which is going to go for the porch. So what I suggest you do as part of your design, or as part of your door, possibly, is we're going to add, so let's see, so I'm going to put my porch here in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a rectangle here at the bottom, because this is going to be the floor of my porch. Now, even though I'm not doing the porch now, it does help because, okay, so this is wrong. Okay, I've immediately spotted this mistake. It's not aligned. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to do a rectangle here. We're going to start here at the bottom. Okay, and then do the pan, go to the left. Oh, it's actually quite a big problem. It is quite a big problem. You can see that it's gone quite a lot. Okay, so there's my rectangle for my floor. Okay, so later on, not now, I can pull this out, and this is for my porch area. So the reason why I've done that is to create that porch area. So now I can do my door, and let's go back to our design. Our door is sort of here on the right hand side. Again, it doesn't matter, we can always move it a little bit later. And again, if we look, there's no dimensions for the door, so we can make the door whatever size we want. Okay, but again, not too big. Again, it's quite an expense, doors, the materials and so on. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, I'm going to offset it only because I would like to have this frame, but I'm going to actually delete this line, or I can erase it, and I'm going to extend this line downwards like that. Okay, and then I can pull this bit out, and then I've got the frame for my door. And obviously I can delete these lines if I want it more accurate. I can delete that line. Okay. Alright, so there we go. And again, I can pull the door out a little bit, just to give it a little bit of depth. There we go. Alright, so again, we need to make this a component. I should have maybe done it a little bit earlier, but it's fine. And this one I've got to be careful that I don't select anything behind it. And I have to make sure that I don't select... No, I can select that line, that's fine. But just check that we've got everything and not anything at the back. And it doesn't look like it, so it looks like we are fine. Okay, so edit, make component, and we're going to say door 1. I'm going to say create, and there we go. Alright, so have we completed stage 1? Let's have a quick look. Make the house a component, which we haven't done. I said we're not going to make the house a component. We're going to design a window and a door and make both components, and we've done that. So that is stage 1. and I'm going to save my work. Okay, so just very quickly, I've just finished my house off. Okay, I've added some additional windows. Okay, if I look at my design, I have a door, I've got a window here, so 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. Okay, and if we go back to this design, you can see this one has, so here's the door, this is a window, so 1, 2, so 1 window, 2 window, no window, 3, 4. Okay, and that's what I've got. But obviously the windows will depend on what you have on the inside. This is a house, but this could be like a doctor's surgery or like a small little hospital where patients are. Remember, these houses can be connected together, so you could have like a door here which leads into one, or actually no wall here, and it leads in sort of an open space. Okay, so there's lots of possibilities. So can you just add your windows to it? No need to add color, and just save your